I am the Secretary General of the Arab Water Council, and I would like, on behalf of the Arab Water Council, that gives me a great pleasure to be a part of this event. And I'd like to thank the government of Jordan, the people, for their warm hospitality that could cover this cold weather here in Jordan. Suppose we have in this session 3 distinguished speakers, and including myself, it will be 4, but I'll try during the opening remarks to include my my presentation in the main speech that I'm going to give you now. In fact, it's well known that there is no other region in the world where availability of water dominating the role of human activities, socioeconomic interaction, and stability, as it does in the Arab region, where the water crisis is escalating. As the use of water increased, the potential for tension, conflict, and instability increased. You know, now the Arab region is characterized by unique characteristics. 10% of our world's area in the Arab region, where 87% are arid or semi-arid areas. 5% of the world's population, with 400 million people, and is supposed to be increased to 600 million people the next 30 years. We have only 1% of the world's water resources. 18 countries out of 22, they are suffer from water scarcity. 8 of them, they have less than 200 meter cube per capita per year. We have about 83 million people suffer to access to safe drinking water. We have more than 96 million people suffer to have an access to adequate sanitation. Agriculture accounts for 85% of the water withdrawals, with low water use efficiency. Groundwater depletion, water quality degradation. The Arab region imports 50% of its food, with a bill up to $35 billion a year. Climate change variability and its impact on socioeconomic issues. And I have to add to this that 65% of our water comes from our political borders, and with no solid agreements or solid legal frameworks. So transboundary water or shared water in the Arab region is critical. Then we are suffering from lack of integration, lack of networking, and lack of exchanging the lessons learned and successful stories. In fact, the United Nations every year celebrates a water day. And the last 3 years, celebrating the cooperation in 2013, the celebration was cooperation on shared water resources. 2014, water and energy. And the coming year is about blue water, how to move to green. So there are a large number of efforts made by the governments, by the regional organization, international organization, but still we need further and better coordinated actions are needed to achieve water security and sustainable development in the region. The League of Arab States already has endorsed the Arab Water Security Strategy, which is 2010 up to 2030, with action framework. 2 weeks ago, we have in Cairo the third Arab Water Forum under the theme of Together Towards a Secure Arab Water, focus on the future as well as the regional cooperation. Today you are here in the third Arab Water Week to exchange vision and look for innovation solutions to face the challenges in our region. One of the main and key issues is the integrated water resources management towards sustainable development. How we can balance between the supply and demand. Under the increasing food security, human safety, and region peace. How we are going to manage this. This calls for policies, long-term sustainability and integrated manners. It could be robust and flexible. Flexible actions that could modify based on new information and knowledge. These policies have to provide no regret solutions to the immediate problems. In fact, integrated water resource management, today they are a new term that's called smart integrated water resources management. In Budapest Summit, they agreed on this term, how we are going to implement and find solutions under the umbrella of integrated water resource management principles. So under this integrated water resource management, there are too many topics that could be covered. About the Arab water state, the evaluation and monitoring of the Arab water for non-conventional water resources, for increasing water use efficiency, recycling, reuse, desalination, how we can secure a sustainable fund, what the role of the private sector and the public-private sector, water governance, institution and legislation issues, role of civil society, advanced technology, space technology in water resources management. So it's estimated that we will need to grow food in the next 40 years what's equal to what was produced in the last 8,000 years. We will need twice as much as water what we use today. So research and best practices are crucial to move from MDGs to SDGs as a wide scope is a key issue here also. Nexus, water, food, energy, and the climate change impact. Trade and virtual water. I said that we are importing 50% of our food. This is about 300 billion cubic meter of water. So shared water, ground and surface water. So there are some efforts in some Arab countries. They are good examples to tackle these problems. We have Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Oman, Emirates, Syria, and Egypt. They are practicing non-conventional reuse and recycling of treated wastewater, non-conventional water resources. And Saudi Arabia also has an initiative for solar water desalination. UAE has Masdar, the city of green city, using green technology. Here in Jordan, they have a lot of efforts towards integrated water resource management, land and energy solutions. So there are too many achievements and too many lessons learned, and we have to find the roadmap for the future. And this is what the Arab region is going to contribute to the World Water Forum will be held in Korea in April. So the lessons we learned here, the lessons we learned in the third Arab Water Forum, that will be a key player that is going to contribute to the World Water Forum in Korea. What I have to say here, yes, there are some challenges, a lot of challenges ahead of us, but still there are opportunities that where we can work together. We have three main issues if we have a goodwill towards a good management and technology, strong economics, and a political will. These are the triangle of success. So by this, this is some opening remarks. We have so far two distinguished speakers to give us also to present here some lessons learned in a different topic related to integrated water resource management and sustainable development. So the first speaker is Dr. Lamizana and Dr. Badran. Together they are going to present a paper about regional guidelines on wastewater management in coastal cities on the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden. So please, Dr. Lamizana.
Thank you, Chair. Assalamu alaikum. As the Chair introduced, our presentation is really in two parts. And the first part will be very short one because we try to combine, in fact, two topics. All the topic dealing with how we could really come to a very good integrated water resources management. When you talk about integrated water resources management, it's talk to institutions, it's talk to policies, it's talk to tools and techniques. So the first part of my presentation will be talking about cooperation and partnership. And within that, I would like to say that the United Nations Environmental Program, together with partners, has set up a global wastewater initiative. It's a partnership dealing with wastewater management, bringing together peoples, institutions, to really try to work together, share information, and come up with the innovative treatment technologies, reuse, but also see how we could have best practices, appropriate policies, and financial mechanisms. So why we think that there is a need for a global wastewater partnership? I have brought with me just a few flyers, which I will maybe leave in the table there for the people who is interested to go into the website, because I will just take a few minutes. And the need is felt, but because under UNEP, as you know, UNEP is managing some what we call the regional seas programs. And under the regional seas programs and one global program of action for the protection of marine environment from land-based activities, people known as GPA. GPA is an intergovernmental body dealing with all sorts of pollution from land-based activities. And the intergovernmental body of GPA have requested UNEP to set up a partnership on wastewater because it's becoming more and more an issue worldwide, particularly in developing countries. When you talk about Asia, you talk about Africa, the Caribbean, and some part of the Arab countries, because I may say that, as the chairperson said right now, that best practices really comes from the Arab countries. First of all, when we are talking about wastewater, people said reuse because of some myth or perception. They say that because of the relations, maybe these countries or Arab countries will be the less or the people who will refuse the reuse word. But we find that in these countries, the wastewater has become a non-conventional resource which they are reusing for many purposes. And so this should be shared worldwide. This should be shared to other countries who are facing scarcity, and not only this region. And we know also that when you manage poorly wastewater, it have really a very bad impact on the ecosystem services, which we are dealing with in UNEP, but also economic opportunities, because when you are ill, you can't walk, or you impact the sea, you impact the beach, or even if the Dead Sea now is polluted and smelling, who could pay a lot of money to come and spend his holidays in an area where the smell will just lead you to really run away? It's a loss of tourism, loss of opportunity. It's also affect the climate change, because some studies shows that the emission from wastewater related is really more harmful than the COD we are talking about. And this also lead that we need really to treat, but when we treat, not only to discharge, but to reuse it as a good and worthwhile, turning our treat and our waste into some wealth. This is the main reason where we set up the Global Wastewater Initiative. So it's really a platform, a voluntary platform, and with the main really to shift the thinking, policy ways, try to demonstrate and also promote the best low cost. It's always not low cost, but some low cost treatment technology is worldwide, decentralized one. But the most important thing is the appropriate treatment technology, where they can fit, and then try to prevent some pollutions. So far we have a steering committee, and this multi-stakeholders platform does comprise the private sector, academia, government, NGOs, UN agencies, but also countries. And then you can have more information on the link below, and also on the leaflet I will leave behind. And then the focus is really to try to work on some data, the status and the trends, because sometimes when you want even to monitor, you need to know what you are monitoring, and sometimes this is missing and there are a gap. To provide also some research and fill the knowledge gaps, some trainings, individual, but also to the institutions, to promote some best practices and technology by compiling, making some compendium, but also, more importantly, to outreach online so that really it will be accessible to everyone who can really see what is going on elsewhere. On policies and institutions, and also on awareness raising. This is the main focus of the Global Wastewater Initiative. How we work is really through partnership, and it's when I talked about, it's not UNEP. UNEP, as you know, is really, don't have a country setting, but we work through the regional SEAS program, we work through our regional offices, and through also some in the countries when there are some initiative and they want some support, we really link with them and they do the work. We are not the one to come down and do the work at the setting. So we work at the global agenda, and the chair mentioned the World Water Forum. We will be also leading a session there on water quality and water reuse. At the global, like the SDGs on wastewater, water quality, coming up with the monitoring session for this wastewater, promoting the demonstration, and also working on the normative setup. So far, and we are trying to see what kind of gaps we have identified. We will come up with an economic valuation of wastewater. What is the cost of action if you are investing in wastewater versus the cost of non-action when you pollute it and lose the ecosystem and the economic, the health and the economic opportunities. We are coming up with the good practices of wastewater management and reuse, together in partnership with the Stockholm Environmental Institute. And this also, some Arab countries' story and lesson learned will be in that. And we are also coming up with some technical matrix on wastewater-related technology and guidance, so that it can help the decision makers when they want to choose the treatment technology. They could have like an options, and based on options now, they could link with the engineer to really help them choose the best actions. We are also coming up with the wastewater norm laws and regulation, together with Waterlex, also a member of the Global Wastewater Initiative, to have this online so that we know sometimes we have policies, we have laws and regulation, but where did these policies be implemented? I don't know for the Arab country, but for Africa, for example, I know that we could have the best policies, the best regulation, but it's really on the shoulder somewhere. On the implementation side, you find that it's zero. And then we are also working on the pollution load, again with another regional seas program, the Black Sea, to try to reduce the pollution load through to the Black Sea, together with one of our partners dealing with the gender issue, the women in Europe on common future, and I talked about the monitoring, and then also on the Pesca region, and here my colleague and partner, Dr. Badran, will take you through what kind of work we are doing with the